a minute to let YouTube and Instagram sync up, and then we will get to talking about Ken Landgraf, Outlaw comic extraordinaire, and how I want to ink like Ken Landgraf. So just give me a minute. You got to wait for up. There we go. Instagram Live is now live. And now, great. And YouTube is live. Fantastic. So that was quick. All right. Well, welcome back to another live streaming event with me, Kurt Bruegel, who is promoting his CROM Collected. It's a 140-page black and white magazine size comic collection. We have some prose that I illustrated, a story called CROM and the Warlock Shardor. We've also included the original 4 stories from the 1950s and 1971 by Gardner Francis Fox, John Junta, and Jack Katz. So they are in here. And then, of course, my 4 stories that I have taken from ballpoint pen up into a more rendered with values for that. So for the month of August, I am putting the challenge down, if you will. Can CROM sell 100 copies without Kickstarter? Nothing against Kickstarter now, but I'm a guy just starting out, and I don't want to go through all the rigmarole of setting up a Kickstarter, running a Kickstarter, and fulfilling a Kickstarter. This comic's already done. I use a print-on-demand fulfillment. You come to my website, which is cromthebarbarian.com, and you make that purchase, and roughly within 2 weeks, you will have the copy of CROM the Barbarian. So as of now, today is the 20th. For 100 copies, I have sold 51, which is pretty damn fantastic. So I'm very ecstatic about it. I've got 11 more days to go. The end of the month of August is the 31st, which is going to be a Saturday. So here I am promoting. And once again, you can get a copy at cromthebarbarian.com. All right. So we'll get back to even talking more and more about things. But the idea is for the month of August, I am also offering 5 other guest artist covers. My cover will always be available beyond the month of August from the shop and other places as time goes on. But I also have a Ken Landgraf cover, which is what I'm going to be talking about tonight, because I commissioned the Ken Landgraf to do an original CROM the Barbarian. So I'm going to talk more about it and how I am just absolutely obsessed with how he inks. And I want to talk about it. And I kind of want to put some questions out there and go from there. But before we get to that, I also want to show off these other fantastic artists that are a part of the Virgin variant cover month of August. David Molina, if you're on Instagram, David Molina, Molina, type it in, or Pariah Comics is his handle on Instagram. This guy does some fantastic, just like paneling, just almost like juxtaposition. It's sort of the way he keeps himself sharp and learning. David and I are also working on an 8-page CROM adjacent story that will go into CROM Anthology, which is going to be the follow-up to CROM Collected, based on how well we do in sales for the month of August. Adam Dodds, another fantastic artist, had been watching him. He has a hashtag doodly gobbledygook, where he does these very well rendered with hatching, patterns, mark making, texture, just fantastic. It's almost like amplifying a Doctor Strange comic. So I reached out to Adam and asked him if he wanted to be, a guest artist and give us his version of CROM the Barbarian, and he did. It's CROM and Queen Tanit, and he's pulling a curtain and kind of either showing us where we're going or where we're coming from. So Adam Dodds, fantastic. You can search for him, Adam Dodds, Dodds. All right. Then we have Jason Schoonover. Jason Schoonover is just one of those people that I immediately gravitated to because of his hatching. And you can see that in this work right here. Where he's at, there's a local art museum. About a week or two before I had reached out to Jason, he was at that museum. There was a painting he was sketching, which was Renaissance in the school of Caravaggio, David and the Head of Goliath. And of course, he kind of used that as a template, and then gave a CROM version. You can see how his hand is missing over here. All right. Well, the end paper for this, for Jason Schoonover's version, is the other half of it. And by the way, this is all basic ruling out straight lines to create black. It is absolutely amazing, the effect that came through in the printing. And this is a pretty lo-fi printing quality, so it's just on a cream colored paper, which I then even added I think it was a 40% newsprint screen to it. So just absolutely great. Schoon, SCHOON art is where you would find him on not only Instagram, but YouTube. He does a really great time where he'll sit down and does a jawing and drawing, and he really kind of shows off what he's working on, how he goes about things, and he's highly approachable and interactive. So please give a look into and follow Jason Schoonover. And then the last artist is a New Zealand-based fantasy artist. It's got like a death metal edge to it, but I think he goes even far and beyond that. I refer to him as just a really unique concept artist. And this is Drawn Sword. Drawn Sword, like I said, is out of New Zealand. He's working on an art book, which is collecting 32 drawings where they're centered around a scoundrel's dread, bounty hunters hunting down the baddies that he's got. But the world, this is two size, everyone. Two size, A4 paper, which is roughly the same as an 8.5 by 11 pencil rendering. So absolutely an amazing. If you were to add one of the books to the collection, because of course all the interiors are the same, which are the 140 pages, black and white, CROM. I do 3 parts. But this is somebody that you really need to be on the lookout for, is Drawn Sword. He's not on Instagram, but if you're on YouTube, Drawn Sword Graphics with an X. He does these flip throughs on sketchbooks, and man, they are wonderful. He also has some death metal, and so. Had a band, and so if you like death metal or kind of proggy heavy rock, he's got that there over there too. So once again, keep these guys in mind. If you're gonna make a purchase, go ahead and make that purchase. CROMthebarbarian.com. Can CROM sell 100 copies without Kickstarter? If you're going to vote yes, then go ahead and go to CROMthebarbarian.com and vote yes by purchasing 1 or maybe 2 copies. It would be very, 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 very. But let's get to the meat of this. I reached out and commissioned Ken Landgraf on doing a CROM the Barbarian. The only thing I asked from him was that he did CROM the Barbarian, he did a monster, he did a wizard, and of course some kind of damsel. And he went to town on that. So if there just so happens to be individuals out there who don't know who Ken Landgraf is, he's on YouTube and he's on Instagram. Just type in Ken Landgraf. You'll eventually get to him because there's a lot of talk going on. One of his most recent books that came out was Ghoul Butcher with Kirk Oldford. So this is just an absolute spectacular, like, in-depth study on how he goes about inking. And one of the things that really has me thinking about my own approach is this collaging element, which are screens or some photographs. Jack Kirby did it. So it's just something that I just find to be absolutely amazing and unique in making a black and white comic book without the crutches of color. So we're going to be talking more about that. But Ghoul Butcher was a Kickstarter that he ran. Apocalypse 5000. This is from Floating World. It was pulling together some material that he had worked with Bob Hauser. Once again, just great escapist story fun. The pacing in this story is amazing, by the way. And you can kind of see some like tells. He worked with Wally Wood and Gil Kane, so you can see some real heavy-handed swipe in here, but it is still coming off Ken Landgraf. But this was also where he's got a printout screen for these atomic bombs. I love it. I just love it. I love it. I love it. And I want to figure out how to incorporate more of it into my work. And of course, the beast of them all, which I just recently got my hands on a copy. Floating World again. Power Comics is responsible for bringing this back into print. I just saw that the recent video was posted by Evan on Power Comics, so it's good to see them back. One of my favorite channels. But here we have Outlaw, New York City Outlaws. So what is this? It's like almost like 300 pages or so. But it's the 5 comics collected together. Once again, absolutely amazing. I mean, look at this. Like he had made, it's kind of like a watercolor portrait. Maybe scanned it and printed it out, or maybe just cut it out and put it in there. And it's fantastic because it goes beyond just the commercial making a comic. And I know that's the most popular way of going about it. But if you really want to personalize your work, you got to go this way. I'm going this way. I want to ink like Ken Landgraf. And I'm going to be, oh my God, this is just amazing. This is what I grew up on when it came to comic books. Ninjas. The black and white ninjas got me into the game right out of the gate. I collected Daredevil because of Elektra and Hand and Frank Miller and all that. A little bit of G.I. Joe because of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. That it's just ninja. So if you had ninjas, it didn't matter if you were black and white color, Marvel or DC, I was buying you. So this is just great stuff. Of course, one of the cool things is this battalion band that was there's a whole story. There are great videos on how this all came about and how it was going on in the 70s too, late 70s, New York City. So with that being said, I am going to show off. So when I requested the commission from Ken, I asked also if I could get his sketch. And I just want to sit with this right now because this is really speaking to me. And when you see something like this and the looseness and you think, well, how the heck is he getting from here to somewhere else? And, you know, the answer really lies in, you know, his vision. I also asked him if it was possible for him to record a little bit on his YouTube channel, him working on the cover. So that does exist. So I'm able to use that to help me kind of decipher his approach to inking. So you kind of just look at that. This is obviously, it's just 2 pieces of typing paper. Says he used it, you know, had something on a light box. You know, he's just basically working that out. Then this goes over that for the light box. And, you know, one thing I get, you know, it's just, I don't know how my camera is going to help explain this, is I think once the line art is reworked on here, he's then, before getting into all the flourish pen work, he's coming up with screens, and he's printing them out, cutting them out, and then kind of placing them in this strategic way that really keeps you moving eye-wise. Obviously, you have something like this, which is an effect, you know, a starburst, if you will. And then he's going back in, and like if you see in his armpit, this is all him brush inking through over the top of that screen that he had laid in there. You know, right here, he's working away from that and into it. So, you know, back in the day, the old days when they were doing offset printing, you know, this gets shot. Anything is a, you know, a line from a paste down and ink and the brushiness and still seeing all that. That goes away because it just gets obliterated into a high contrast of black and white. I actually, of course, here it is. I actually left, I did not really obliterate. You can kind of see a little bit of how things are just kind of sitting there. But for the most part, you know, if you were to just sit back and, you know, look at that, then, you know, it's going to be like it was all hand done. In other words, all these textures were all done stippling wise or stuff like that. But nope, he's using this effect. So, you know, one of the other things, it's also got a little sketch through in there. So very, very nice. So once again, Ken Landgraf. I really think he's gonna make it in the Hall of Fame if he hasn't already when it comes to you know, being one of those fathers of indie comics. You know, I'm excited for him. He's getting a lot. I see King Megatrip, Matt King, was out at what was it? I forget the name of the con. Fantastic Con or something. Anyhow, we'll find out on Saturday when we get together, Matt, and talk more. But you just threw up in the comments that you got some time spent with Ken. Terrific Con. Anyways, and also that that the miracles of Jesus that um, Ken illustrated. You got autographed, so I think that's super awesome. I see a copy on YouTube that excuse me, eBay that I'm going to have to get a hold of. But it's really, really exciting. One of the things, I think is really exciting about comics and also the accessibility of it, based on who the person is and, I guess they're popular. Terrific Con. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that, Matt. Yeah. Thank you. Is you can get original art. I'm not going to call out what the price is because I did also pay extra to have the licensing to print it, so I just didn't want to get a commission and then go ahead and use it as a cover or pin up or anything like that. I actually wanted him to do a commission and then pay on top of that the right to be able to reproduce it. So, and specifically just for the CROM Collected. So that's a big thing I think we need to hold in respect. But I think the bigger part of it is you can get a Ken Landgraf original, and I think it would be very, very wise to get a commission. Your favorite character. When you once again you go to his YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of commissions he's working on. Just really everything. So and recreations. So if you have like a cover or an album cover or something like that, he's really accessible and going from there. But I am going to be, hold one second, just want to check my live stream, make sure everything is still good. God forbid if I just kept talking and things were shut off. I'm actually going to take this and work. I'm going to scan it. I already have it scanned. I'm going to print it out 13 by 19, which is the size that I work on. And then I'm going to try to figure out and do my own version by watching the video on his channel and having the original close by. But even maybe reaching out to him and seeing if he could give me a little pointers here and there on how to ink like Ken Landgraf. So we'll see what comes from there. But if you're here, you made it this far, thank you. It's exciting to have, the support from everybody. Right now, I'm selling comics for the month of August. I can CROM Sell 100 copies without Kickstarter. As of today, which is the 20th of August, I have sold 51 comics of the 100, which you got to think is pretty darn good. I can even just be honest in my feeling that I've come a long ways. As I said before, I have done a couple of Kickstarters before over the years. I've even tried to just make a comic. As a matter of fact, like the 2018 version of CROM Collected, which has my ballpoint pen versions, the original ballpoint pen versions in there. This sells well, but I didn't do any promotions. But it's just always something there. There's even a PDF version of it. You could see. But I never really fared well when it came to using a Kickstarter. So this time I wanted to do something very simple, and the idea had come down to, instead of doing a Kickstarter, run a website totally devoted to CROM the Barbarian, which is then the website CROM the Barbarian. The homepage is completely dedicated to getting more information about what's all involved, and of course being able to order copies of the comic. So we have 6 covers to choose from. Ken Landgraf, Drawn Sword, Jason Schoonover, Adam Dodds, David Molina, and of course me. My cover will always be in print, but these covers that I've just shown off will only be available for the month of August. Depending on how well we do, if we can sell 100 copies, I can compensate each of these artists with copies of their covers. So when I am approached on CROMthebarbarian.com, hey, Kurt, can I get a David Molina original cover? I'm sorry, it's sold out, but you can reach David Molina and purchase from him. And of course, there's always that collectability edge. So the fewer that are out there in the wild, and years down the road it comes to fruition, we'll have that opportunity to make a few extra bucks on it when it comes down to it. But it also helps them when they're out at shows themselves. They can go ahead and have those on display, sell them. You'll notice that there is no insert, there's nothing on the inside cover, which I kind of like, because then you can do a nice little doodle. This is a good 80-pound, maybe even 100-pound card start. So you can really do something nice there on that. So selling 100 copies by the end of August is going to help put a lot of copies in the guest artist's possession. So it also keeps them going. The place to get it is CROM the Barbarian. .com. So pretty easy. If you're on Instagram, go to my bio. It's the only link. It's the only link in my bio. Click it, you'll be there. So that's that. The follow-up is what I'm going to be calling CROM Anthology. So based on the success of this campaign, I will be doing a CROM Anthology. Now, this is just a scrapbook, if you will, 450 pages. I made this logo just to help out, with the identifier. But I really want to do an anthology that's about 200 pages, black and white, 8.5 by 11, and of course, oh boy. Oh no, here we go. And of course, based on everybody's favorite, my personal core of existence as an artist, comics and such, Conan the Barbarian, CROM, Savage Sword of Conan. So, and heavy metal magazines. So CROM Anthology is basically really pushing these two aesthetics in magazine size, black and white aesthetics. The heavy metals were not always black and white, but you had black and white, here and there. There's another black and white, but of course you had full color too. But for the most part, Savage Sword of Conan is really going to be the core value for putting together a magazine. One of the other things too was the articles and advertising that I think was done so well. I'm also going to have contributions in there, some articles, some prose stories illustrated. A photo gallery is another thing that could come along. Also, once again, if I hit that 100 copies marker, it's going to help really get CROM Anthology off the ground, because, the big thing is I will be contributing half of the book, about a half of the book as CROM material, or what I also refer to as CROM adjacent universe, the place where CROM exists, comic stories and stuff like that. But this is just a big old collection of stuff that has, like this story. I want to reach out to the estate of Pat Boyette, see if I can get this reprinted, because it's just a bonkers story that I've always loved. I always come back, use as a point of inspiration, but I just don't want to misappropriate anything. You know, make sure I interface with the right people who have ownership of the material and the estates, and see what it costs. Maybe some things will be out of my reach right now, and down the road we could build a coffer in order to get a hold of it. But, you know, once again, want to respect the material out there, but I also want to keep it. Here's another one. This appeared in, that's right, Hot Stuff. Hot Stuff, number 5, fall of '77. Charred. This thing is just, it's amazing. Herb Arnold is another person that I'm looking and to track down, because he does have some material in here which I think would be awesome to have in reprint. But this would be the back matter to help support these just fantastic icons in the history of sword and sorcery. This would be, I think this would be a great remake. This is an old Charlton. Anybody remember this one? Warhund, Lair of the Assassin. It's like 1982, a Charlton Bullseye, number 5. I have 2 copies of this. I can't get enough of this comic. Even as bad as it as it was, it has magic in it. There's magic here, and I want this magic to be in CROM Anthology. Once again, Alfredo Alcala. I just bought this alter ego, the estate, the family that is supposedly a part of the estate, because it says estate of Alfredo Alcala. So I'm hoping there's some information to interface with them to get Voltar reprinted, or let me do some stuff, you know, in incorporating it to CROM Anthology. You know, it's just, you think, you know, Ken Landgraf, and then you think Alfredo Alcala. Whew. That's my world. Just so everybody understands, that's my world. I can't stop thinking about it. You know, there's some old black and whites that were written by Gardner Fox. I want to get back into circulation. And then there's some nice golden age stuff. This Dark Daring story from 1950 or something. Wow Comics, Canadian, just fantastic. One of the things I love about it is every time I see him, he looks like Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin. So, but this might get converted into or used as a jumping off point for CROM the Barbarian. You know, really kind of playing out the, not only like a Spanish galleon, but kind of trying to push it to be a little more ancient / alien. So, you know, and then here's some very specific stories. Amazona is a character by Gardner Fox. 3 stories. They appeared in Erie, Vampirella twice, two issues of Vampirella. Going to bring this into CROM's world because there's a lot of crossover writing towards not only CROM's world, but Kothar is what Gardner Fox wrote, Kyrick, and Nile of the Far Travels. So there's great stuff. And then one of the big dogs I want to try to get is Will Mineo, who back in, I think this is 1970, in Barbarian Comics, issue 2 and 3. Yeah, from California Comics, 1972. Will Mineo wrote, pencil, inked, lettered, fantastic. His own version of CROM. So something was there. I also want to try to get him on the CROM updates, which, by the way, you go to cromthebarbarian.com and go up to the top and hit the menu bar. There's CROM updates, which are blogs that come out. One just dropped this afternoon, which is David Molina and I working on The Last Dryad, which is a CROM adjacent comic story that David and I are working on. And he'll be doing the pencils. He's working on the layouts right now, and I'll be doing the inks. But a lot of really good stuff. I do interviews as well. Matter of fact, this Saturday I will be having an interview with the man himself, Matt King, Megatrip. We're going to be talking about Tales to Enlighten, and the just. I dare to say and spoil it if Matt's still there listening. The similarities. There's just I want to pick his brain on going about it. We've already had him on the Turbo Pit Fighter channel, so I am one half of Turbo Pit Fighter. So Jake Jacobs is another channel. It's on YouTube. We meet every Sunday. We also have a section which is called Indie Creator Exchange, and we've interviewed Matt twice. So those are really great. This is something else that you can get a hold of. Yeah, Matt, I'm getting excited. My notes just you could see all the Post-its in my book get added every time I sit down and read it. Because, it's like the Bible. But there's like I said, some golden age. This is my absolute favorite golden age story. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to put this in the first issue. There's a website called Comics Plus, Comic Books Plus. It's all digital golden age stuff you can get a hold of. I've been through it. Oh my God. I think when I found it was like 2008 or 9 or 10 or something like that. Always going through, downloading and putting in folders and checking things out. But this one, I don't know. There's just something about it. It's just, it holds like almost everything, especially like time travel and just weird science and Neanderthals and sacrifices and yeah, I'm all in. So I'm going to start backing out here. Let you people get to maybe dinner or even the drawing board. Maybe you're on the drawing board, which is another really excellent point. Let me just take one more. Excuse me. In the back, it's an open call for collaboration. As I've established, no ownership of CROM the Barbarian. It is a public domain character, which I love the fact that it's a public domain character and anybody can play with it. There's quite a few people. 4 people are working on it. Actually, when I say people, I'm kind of like people who put it out publishing. Just Jamie Comics on Instagram. Hopefully in days is the Blade of CROM, which is a toilet comic, which I think is 4 or 5 individuals who've done their own CROM story. Alex Turbin is one of them. I cannot wait to get a hold of it. Lucky Comics, which is John Michael Heller, Jim Gillette. They put out CROMs back, 21, I think, or maybe even earlier. And then there's another gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he did something. And I'm going to be talking about that and hopefully getting them on the CROM Update podcast and blog to be able to talk more of it. But, a couple people have said that they've gotten a copy and they are excited to write their own story or start drawing their own story. But as it goes, as much as I'm trying to sell a comic, I'll be honest that I'm trying to build a community. That's really what it is. I'm looking for those few out there that really identify, like I said, with Savage Sword of Conan and Heavy Metal Magazine. So, please reach out, contact, and I'm pretty much anywhere. So to get a hold of. But on the way out here, David Molina, one of the 5 covers that you can get. Adam Dodds, Jason Schoonover, drawn sword, and of course, the theme of tonight's live stream, Ken Landgraf. So I had will commission to, once again, just have to say, if I reach 100 copies, there is a 4-pager CROM Barbarian story that I already have in hopes to get commissioned from Ken Landgraf. But if I hit 100, it's going to mean maybe 6 pages. It all really kind of depends on how things work out. As of today, which is the 20th of August, I have 51 copies sold. I'm doing it without a Kickstarter, which means all you have to do is go to cromthebarbarian.com and place your order. It'll get fulfilled through a print on demand, take about a week to print, and then take about 3 to 5 days to ship to you. So in all, maybe less than 2 weeks. And that is why I'm doing it without the Kickstarter. It's just get you guys in as soon as possible and enjoy the things that I think you and I both enjoy. If you're coming in after the live stream when the video is posted on there, go ahead and post any comments and questions, by the way. I'm going to kind of sit here and be silent for a few minutes. Raymond Winter out on YouTube. Thank you for stopping by. Great supporter of not only CROM, but Turbo Pit Fighter. Like I said, just a little shout out going there. So this is a teaser you can get on kurtbrugel.com. That's the first 12 pages. This really got me going on the whole grace value system. Jake is just an amazing writer, amazing post-apocalyptic sci-fi story writer and penciler, by the way. These are all his illustrations. I did the inkings on them. So this is really, really good stuff. But if you have any questions, I'm going to just spend the last 4 minutes here just winding down. You can always get a hold of me, Kurt Brugel. Matter of fact, let me write it down. You have to email me, Kurt Brugel. What is it? At gmail.com. So instant messenger on Instagram there as well. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. I'm going to be doing this quite often till the end. If you have anything you would like me to talk about or share, please leave them in the comments. Yep. CROM the Barbarian, Ken Landgraf, cromthebarbarian.com, Ken Landgraf. I mean, come on. If you don't know who Ken Landgraf is, let me help you. Rom, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Catching us right at the end. Just recently got my copy of New York City Outlaws. Actually tonight, I'm going to be digging into this. Man, just look at that page. Look at this thing here. It looks like he cut something out there. I don't know. Maybe that was from another. I don't know. It's great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. It's so personal. That's, I think, the thing that it has me so excited. This issue, I think this is issue 2, where it's got the red as like a spot color in there. I mean, come on. So there's also Apocalypse 3000. Exactly what it says. Mutants, I think right there. Yeah, look at this, Mutants. You know, the other thing too are like B-movie exploitation stuff. Just can't get enough of it. Can't get enough of it. Oh, and Ghoul Butcher. I really picked this one up because of the cover in the promotions. You know, once again, there's these, you know, printouts cut out to make. It's just this thing here. This is maybe use like a Gustav Dora book and cut and print. It's fantastic. Look at, I mean, the way it's just so bold, it's so personal, so energetic, it's so connecting, so well done as a story. So I'm looking forward to working with Ken more and more, as well as others in the collaboration of. Oh, look at this one. Jeez. You know, and the other thing too, he has the professional expertise is leave this white. That's a lot. That's a lot to be said. A lot of people have a hard time either doing that by leaving it, or they do it too much. So there's just too damn much white. But yep. So this was fun. Speaking of Matt King, Eli Schwab, Matt Sardo. It was good times. Good times. Great community too, by the way. Great community. I want to thank everybody who has supported me so far. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. Being an artist all these crazy days. Crazy. So, all right. Almost an hour, 47 minutes. All right. Well, like I said, I will be back. I just want to once again say, looking for support. Vote yes to Can CROM Sell 100 copies without Kickstarter. Vote yes at CROM the Barbarian by purchasing a copy. I also have to say that I feel they're very affordable too. CROMthebarbarian.com. Once again, I'll be here for about a minute or two. If anybody has anything they want to put in a question as a suggestion for my next live feed event, please. If you're coming in later and watching it not live anymore in the archive situation, go ahead, put something in the questions, and it will be in the topics for the live stream. But once again, I thank you for your support and even just jumping on, liking, and also too, if you're not a big black and white magazine sword and sorcery person, but you're into indie comics and you want to support, you want to find some way to support, well, you know, the way to do it is share it to somebody you know that would help me get the word out. But with that being said, there's no comments at this time or suggestions or questions. Let me just see something here. Bam! Let me give some love there. Trying to figure out this live streaming thing. I'm doing it, technically speaking, I'm doing it through, oh, here is the question. Doing it through riverside.fm. So I'm using the streaming key and all that kind of stuff. All right, what do you envision the community to look like? It's that absolutely the best question. The thing I want is collaborations. One of my theories when it comes to comic books is what keeps people interested in comics over and over and over for the longest time, and I am obviously speaking personally, is when you read a comic, it generates such an impact on us in a fantastic escapist way that it also causes a reaction where you start writing your own story or imagining another character, what the character looks like, and how big they are, and how they're dressed, and the weapons they carry, or the vehicle. It's just that type of thing. I don't get it that much when I watch television or movies. Books, if I read books, it's actually more extreme. But I want there to be, dare I say, a safe place where even if you're an amateur, even if you have a little notebook, spiral bound blue line, and you doodle little things and stuff, I want there to be a place where there's a contribution to it and a building. Once again, CROM the Barbarian is a public domain character. I'm not trying to own or possess this character. I was wise enough to get CROMthebarbarian.com before anybody, but who was going to do that anyways? So, but like I said, there is a blog session on CROMthebarbarian.com. There's a way you can make comments there, as well as there is a video on YouTube, which is matched with the blog, which you can make comments on that video on YouTube. And like I said, you can contact me. But a great question, Dexter. And if you are into this, then reach out. Let's chat. And when I get like a week or two into September, and obviously August is wrapped up for the CROM Sell 100 copies, I will then be putting a lot more material out there for the CROM anthology and how that looks and how that works. And, most importantly for me in collaboration is the respect for working with people. And that goes back to, if I get 100 copies sold, it will help financially, have money in the coffers to be able to compensate properly individuals for their work. And I'll state it here too, if you create anything, you own it. Even if it is CROM the Barbarian, you own it, gets published here or anywhere, you own it, it's yours. So no fooling around there. But once again, can't stress it enough. Visit CROMthebarbarian.com. Make a purchase, help support. Like I said, if you're not a big fan of this kind of stuff, but you know somebody, reach out to them and let them know. Maybe buy a copy for a friend and give it to them for their birthday. All right, I'm getting all chuckled out. It's the end of my day. But I want to thank everybody for stopping by and hanging out. I'm going to be doing this again. Please leave in the comments some suggestion. Dexter Jones, I just want to say thank you very much for that question. Excellent question. Probably the best question so far. And I'm going to work more on explaining that. Like I said, once I get through the selling of what I call the player's handbook. CROM Collected 2024 revised edition. So this is a great place to steal ideas. Oh yeah, almost forgot. So with the you're welcome. So with the CROM and the Warlock of Shardor, if you were to get this and read, one of the reasons this story is in here is my goal is to take CROM the Barbarian and get him to be the dark, brooding god that CROM Iconium, the Sumerian, swears to. And part 7, which is the last 7 of the story, to the end, has a mechanism, a story mechanism in it that is going to help me get there. So it's going to be something else I'll be talking about. And it might actually be the next theme for my live stream. But I've talked enough, shared enough, and you guys got to get back to reading comics, making them if you choose. Once again, thank you very much. Support Ken Landgraf if you can. He has plenty of stuff out there. Search Ken Landgraf in your favorite social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So love him to death and want to see him prosper and keep prospering. So see you out there, people. Thank you again. Oh, 555. See you live.